This is a brand new Pipedream Sirius. That's my trail dog Ali. I'm David and you're watching Just Ride Bikes. Let's dive in. This new Sirius is a really good reminder of the benefits, the pros of a nicely designed steel hardtail, of which there's no shortage here in the UK. You can reel off 5 or 10 names of small independent steel hardtail manufacturers. It definitely appeals to British cyclists. That simplicity, the lack of complexity, the low cost are all reasons why many people choose a hardtail over a full suspension bike, or as well as a full suspension bike, especially for winter mud plugging. Pipedream had quite a bit of legacy when it comes to steel hardtails, launching the first generation Sirius about 15 years ago when the company arrived on the scene. I remember I was working at bikemagic.com, a website some of you might be familiar with from back in the day, my first job in the bike industry. And I reviewed the Sirius and I was so taken with the bike, so impressed with it, the way it rode and the way it looked, that I bought the frame and built it up with some parts I had lying around. I rode it for quite a few years, and then some time ago I gave it to a friend, so hopefully it's still out there somewhere, still being ridden in anger. So while the name is the same as the original, and it still uses steel as a frame material choice, everything else has changed, and it's bang up to date with all the details you expect on a modern trail bike. So it's slacker, longer. We've got 29-inch wheels here, but you can run 27.5, designed for the modern trail riding that many of us mountain bikers are doing these days. So really capable, but still lightweight and agile, responsive hardtail. So let's dive into the frame details a bit more, and there's lots to point out. Talk about how it rides, and I'll give my verdict at the end of the video. It's a really nice looking frame in my opinion, and it's made from 4130 chromoly with every tube shape and dimension customized to their requirements, including the butting inside the main tubes, with the butting placed in such a way that there's no need for reinforcing gussets on the outside of the tubes around the head tube. So nice clean looks, gives a really nice look to the bike. We've got external cable routing, so it's nice and neat and easy to build, and nice swoopy rear stays giving maximum tire clearance. You can fit a 2.8 on a 27.5 inch wheel, or a 2.6 on a 29 inch wheel as we have here. And the way they've achieved the tire clearance is very simple and elegant, with nice skinny, simple curved rear seat stays, quite chunky chain stays using a plated chainstay yoke at the bottom bracket, where there's a 68mm external threaded bottom bracket, and you can fit a chain guard as well if you need. We've got sliding dropouts at the back end, so you can fit a single speed conversion if you want, if you don't want gears. And the bike is designed for a 120mm fork on the front, but they are working on a rigid fork as well if you want even more simplicity, get rid of gears and suspension and have a pure and simple bike, ideal for winter riding. But it's not winter, so I've got all the gears and all the suspension for shredding the dry trails at the moment. Pipedream had developed their own drop optimized geometry, which gives you a clue to the riding intentions of this bike. There's just 3 sizes available as well: longish, long and longer, with longer reaches than normal hardtails, especially cross-country race hardtails. And although there's only 3 sizes, because we have a short seat tube and a low slung top tube, you can size up or down as you need and base your fit requirements on the reach of the bike. So it's not the longest or slackest hardtail, but neither is it the shortest or steepest. But as I found when I rode the bike for the last few weeks, it strikes a really nice middle ground between the 2 extremes, a really nice sweet spot. That for me, on the trails I ride and the way I ride, is a perfect balance, the perfect compromise. It's fast and agile and lightweight and climbs really well too, plenty of traction from the rear tyre, and that steep seat angle puts you in a nice seated climb position. And it's great fun going back down as well, with roots and rocks and berms and drops, plenty of capability to not hold you back at all. The frame retails for £650 with a choice of 3 colours, and you can build a bike however you want. Lightweight, burly, using brand new parts or leftover parts That's the beauty of buying a steel frame like that. You can build it however you want to suit your riding and requirements. To allow me to ride the frame, Pipedream sent down this fully built bike using parts they had available due to supply issues at the moment, as we all are aware of. But a really nice build that really demonstrates the capability of this frame very well. Starting with the brand new RockShox SID Ultimate fork up the front with 120mm travel and 35mm stanchions, which is a brilliant fork. Plenty of stiffness, fantastic damping. It deals with everything so well. Small little bumps to big impacts. It's a really great fork, probably the best fork in this category right now, and really bridges that cross-country, marathon to lightweight, short travel trail bike category really well. It's a really good fork. I wouldn't change that at all. And then a mix of Shimano Dior and SLX 12 speed with a big range cassette on the back. Nice pro finishing kit with a handlebar, stem and dropper post, and a nice burly pair of Percenti wheels, nice wide alloy rims, great for the Maxxis tyres, high roller 2 on the back and a Minion DHF on the front. You could go lighter with a build, lighter wheels, tyres perhaps. I wouldn't change anything really. Riding this series for the last few weeks has really reminded me, as if I need reminding, that hardtails still rock and still have a valid place in the mountain bike world these days, especially with the high prices and increased complexity of modern full suspension bikes. There's something so beautifully, refreshingly simple about a hardtail, from building it, the weight, the cost, and just the way it rides on the trails. It really does put a smile on your face. Now, ultimately, I'm probably faster and comfier on a full suspension bike, but I'm having as much fun on a bike like this, and perhaps even more fun. It is a really good reminder that you don't need all that technology, all that suspension to have fun on a mountain bike ride. On fast flowing trails, it's a real hoot, and even when it gets a bit rowdy, a bit chunky, where full suspension might be faster and smoother, the bike doesn't hold back at all. And you do have to pick your line a bit more carefully. On a full suspension bike, you can just point the bike down the hill, steamroller through it all, and when you join up all the dots from A to B to C through a tricky trail, and you nail it first time, it's so immensely satisfying on a bike like this, because there's no cheating, there's no relying on a full suspension to get you through it. It's all down to rider skill, and it really does put skill up to the forefront of what matters. Compared to a full suspension bike, there is more feedback coming through the back of the frame, as you would expect, but there's something about the steel frame that just gives a bit more give in the way it responds to impacts. So it's not quite a jackhammer when you're riding down a rough trail with steps and roots, and the frame and that chunky rear tyre does help to kind of take the edge off and ensure it's not a battering ram of a ride. So fairly smooth, not buttery smooth like a full suspension bike, but smoother than a carbon or aluminium hardtail, say. You do have to tune the rear tyre pressure a little bit more, run a bit lower pressure, get a bit more vibration damping, and I would consider perhaps going to a 2.8 on a 27.5 rear wheel, just to get a bit more kind of vibration damping on harder trails, especially when it's as dry as it is now. So it really shows the benefits of steel, but also how well Pipedream have worked the tube profiles and the butting inside the tube, which you can't see, to ensure it's a frame that delivers a really good performance on the trail. Ultimately, I'm probably not as fast on this bike as a full suspension bike, but I feel fast. And for me, feeling fast is what really matters. That sensation of speed, of feeling fast, even if I'm not actually that fast, is just as important to me as what the stopwatch or Strava says. So this bike definitely feels fast, and I'm sure in the right hands, it is a supremely fast bike. So a really capable bike, a good all-round UK trail bike, or anywhere trail bike that is light enough for climbing well, for long rides when you're laden up with food and water, but good for lunchtime blasts in the woods, focusing on the descent. You can build up lighter, burlier, really plenty of options. So, given the amazing advances in full suspension mountain bike technology, you might wonder why hardtails like this haven't gone out of date many years ago. But small companies like Pipedream and many more here in the UK continue to prove that hardtails still have a valid place, and there is a growing audience for bikes like this. That simplicity in the way they ride, the low cost, that low complexity will ensure they continue to be a popular option for many more years. And the update to this new series, stretching right back 15 years ago to when it first launched, bring it right up to date and make it a really thoroughly capable and enjoyable trail bike that does everything so well. So it's a big thumbs up from me. I really enjoyed riding it. So thanks to Pipedream for letting me borrow the bike for the last few weeks. Ali's enjoyed it. I still can't keep up with her. She's starting to slow down a bit, but still pretty rapid on the trail. Anyway, that's my review of the Pipedream Sirius. I'll put a link to their website down below if you want to check it out and take a closer look. And do let me know what you think of this bike and of hardtails in general. Do they float your boat or not? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again next time.